I put that number, but I don't know if that's accurate. I think the only.
Oh, yeah. No.
Alright, somebody wanna bring forward the memorandum of understanding for resolution number 3 of 2019?
May I ask a question? I know it was a little late, but I've heard the same presentation regarding
We've
memorandums of
closed the
understanding.
floor, Judge.
The only question I have is, and I'm glad the town attorney is here, maybe he can help us. Does this memorandum of understanding make the town a guarantor of the payment of any expenses for the erection, maintenance, upkeep, or anything else so far as the town is concerned? I'm concerned because Matt was talking about, we don't have a lot of money, but we may have some money. And I don't think the taxpayers should be obligated to engage in this. And as much as I would like to see this project go forward, just don't make it a taxpayer's expense.
up to
It's a
their
statement of
call to-
support.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
It's a statement of support. It's not, it's
Is
not
the word gonna
contractual.
be non-financial, is that gonna be added in
What,
there?
what it says is that outlining that it's willing to support the efforts. It is not, it is not a it is not a contract.
Excluding finance.
There is no language that says excluding financial.
Well,
It's
why
not.
not? I don't think,
Doesn't need to be.
you shouldn't let the club here think that we're gonna go to our taxpayers' pocket.
It makes no financial commitment whatsoever.
As long as that's the understanding and it's clear on the record tonight, that's it, and I will quote you next year. Thank you.
We'll be retired down in Florida somewhere, Judge,
Oh,
by the time we get ready to build, so.
You can report that you get the big ones.
Oh, yeah. Well, I signed your check, I think I could argue that.
Unless Matt wants to bring it forward, I'd like to bring forward this resolution for vote.
All right, motion is made by Janet. Second by Matt. Call the roll, Elsa.
Bill?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
All right, hit the brakes, raise some money.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming and showing your support.
Okay, any other old business? Moving on to new business, we've got the annual contract with Harvard Catskills. Yes.
Old business,
Old business, okay.
you may have noticed the microphones are still not working.
I noticed that, it worked for about 10 seconds.
That's about it.
Yeah.
I would like to ask, since we did not get rid of the original mic equipment, can we have them reinstalled? I don't know how they do it. I know these are wireless. I don't think the other ones were wireless. But we have all of the microphones and the wires that were there originally. I'd like to have the original microphones
Okay.
take the place of this so we can have the microphone.
I'm in favor of that. These definitely do not work.
When they work, they're great.
Yeah.
But 10
They
seconds.
seem to eat batteries up every 3 minutes or something. Who can we get a hold of to do that? Those are Bill. Like more about it too. How are you gonna do it?
Now, this was originally a project that was done with the students,
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah, so, I mean, they're the ones that did it originally.
You want to talk to them, see if they remember
Sure.
where they pulled things out of?
Yeah, is all the equipment still nearby?
Is the
In
equipment
the
still in
closet.
the closet?
It's in the
Okay.
closet.
All right, we'll get to work on that.
Thank you.
You would get a bond to make sure that you have to take it down later, but you have
Oh, is the town attorney posting a bond for it?
to. No, I'm simply raising the issue, I'm just concerned about the taxpayers.
We're gonna salvage the wire for scrap, so.
There you go.
They're wireless. Back to Heart of the Catskills, it's our annual contract, once again, they put in cats.
How expensive would it be if we had that?
They're cheap, but there's a reason they don't charge much per cat, cause there's lots and lots of them. Which is why I guess probably why they charge us more for the dogs, but. Alright, Al made a motion to approve the contract with Heart of the Catskills minus the $5 per cat. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion, we turn on the air conditioner again for a few minutes.
I can't hear, if you guys have that on, I cannot hear you speaking.
You can't hear
I
us?
cannot hear you, no, I'm sorry, I cannot hear you.
I've got some.
Just open the window.
Go for it, I can't hear.
School and all about that.
Do you have this as a word document there, send it?
Yeah.
Email me that, please.
I'll take this also and put, Alan wants information on the back page. There's information. Alright, next up, Mary Ann Greenfield, our town historian, has asked for permission to attend a training conference. And what was the amount? Mary
It's
Ann's?
130, I believe, for the night, one night at the hotel, and if I'm not mistaken, it was like 156 for the class. So it's basically a 2-day training, just a
Two-day training.
Have we typically sent her to it? Or is this
last
something?
year,
Remember annual,
I make a motion that we approve it.
okay, motion by Billy to approve.
Second.
Second by Al. All in favor?
Aye.
Our assessors, there's a mandatory training that they have to take, and this is the one chance to get it in the nearby town. I think there's 40 seats, so we wanna get them signed up quick.
Make motion to approve the assessor training?
Alright,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Alright. vendor permit application for the pool.
Yeah, everybody should have a copy of that file. Basically, what we're looking at is at the pool, we're anticipating that we're gonna have some people that wanna, sell hot dogs, whatever down there. We do have some space available, on one section of the pool grounds. And so we're gonna make this vendor's permit, application available for those who are interested. This mimics, the Village of Delhi's, program. There's a couple of little changes, but not too much. We've kinda stuck with their requirements and so on. It all makes sense, the insurance, the Department of Health certificate they have to have, and so on and so forth. So, this year we are asking, to only charge $25, right now. We'll revisit that next year, but because we have a short season and we don't really know if we're gonna end up with anybody, we wanna try to promote it. So we're looking at $25. We will look at limiting that to not more than 2, to begin with, per day. So if, we'll have to juggle that around a little bit. But right now, we don't have anybody jumping out at us, but we wanted to be prepared. So this would be something that would be available in the town clerk's office or online, and they would have to supply their information as far as insurance and so on. Anybody has any questions? The rules are attached, what they're required to have, and so on. So look that over, decide what you think. If there's any issues or questions.
This is not a joke, it's a real question. If somebody wants to go down there with like a barbecue grill and sell hot dogs, not a truck, but just, a
They
random
have to have
person.
Department of Health.
We're still requiring that they have the permit in the Department of Health.
Gotcha.
We may look at something if it was some kind of a fundraising situation, but if we're talking a vendor here, we're talking about somebody with a food truck or hot dog wagon, those types of folks, and if they're gonna come down, they have to have the permit, so.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess
Access to public water and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So,
They take their own trash out when they leave, and we supply nothing.
I guess I'd like to see a fee schedule in print somewhere. Rather
Yeah,
than
we're, like I said, this year, we're gonna use $25 as the fee. We'll revisit that for next year, but because of our short time period, that's the fee. So we can fill that in there if you want,
Yeah,
where it
just
says
fill that
fee
in.
on the top.
on the applications for 25 for this year.
If we end up getting many people that are interested in doing this, then we may have to limit, and allow different folks a chance to come in and be there, so. And if that's the case, we may have to use a different fee schedule, but at this point, that's.
It's only handed over to the attorney.
To kind of piggyback on that, for this year and at this time, I did talk with Dave Kopacek about getting it all online, like on our website, so that it was something that they could handle, just because it is almost like a reservation type of thing. And at this point, sorry to jump ahead for committee reports, but the website updates and upgrades will be ready, hopefully to go live at the end of this month, and that puts us down to the rest of the month. So Dave actually suggested paper schedule, writing the names in if people are here, and keeping it in the office just at this point in time. This is just a regular calendar for this time, if we do have somebody.
If we do. I think we're trying to be realistic. If you're selling hot dogs for $1.50 or $2, and you're only doing it while the kids that are swimming, and it's this period of time, you gotta be a little, this isn't a money-making thing as much as it is an opportunity for people for the kids down there to have hot dogs and something to eat, because that has come up with some people have asked, about food and so on, so. That's our thought.
Okay. Any comments, Mr. Attorney, on it, or?
The only thing I can tell you is that I work with several municipalities, as you know, and we have had this type of permitting process for other situations, especially for facilities like the pool that are short season. I mean, we're not talking about the Delaware County Fair, we're talking about local things. And we've had very little response. We, again, as we were mentioning, is that even at $25, sometimes the cost benefit analysis isn't there, or they're there for 2 weeks, and they just say, oh, this isn't working. So I think it's a real good place to start. And again, I'm not prejudicing if someone, if it works in this community, then God bless. But I think this is a way to start, and hopefully entice somebody to come in, and then if they can build a customer base, then great. But it really is a convenience thing for the people who are using the park, and as long as you control it, it's a positive for them. The issue really is whether it's worth it for the vendors. Gas for those trucks is expensive, you know. So I'm very comfortable with it.
Okay.
Make a motion to accept this vendor's permit application.
Is there a second? Second by Matt, all in favor?
Aye.
While we're on the pool, is the village picking up the garbage?
On Mondays and Fridays.
Is that often enough?
Right now, it's fine.
Okay. If it becomes a problem, let me know.
We're just happy they come pick it up.
Well, we
We
were
put
told they
everything-
weren't gonna do it anymore, and,
Oh, they said that?
yeah.
Well, the only place that you wanna hear that from is the PAC committee. If you hear that from anybody else, just disregard it, because unless you hear that from the PAC committee, then it's false. Okay, all the rules and regulations that are happening with that pool between the village of Delhi and the town of Delhi are being handled by the PAC committee. And I don't care if it's the mayor or some other board member who tells you something, if you don't hear from the PAC committee, then it isn't true. And you can stand on that. I really get sick of hearing all the rumors. So please follow the chain of command and things will run a lot smoother. Thanks.
Better hope the mayor's down in North Carolina.
I don't care where the mayor is.
Can you tell me with this, is somebody gonna go over this with me? I mean, this is pretty vague here. Is this for a whole season, $25?
Yeah.
$25.
That's for the
For
entire
this-
season?
For this season of the pool.
Which is unclear.
And what am I supposed to get, copies of driver's license? I mean, you know,
Well, you're supposed to get a certificate of insurance showing
Yeah.
that they have insurance. You're supposed to get the Department of Health certification showing that they have been certified to do their thing. Those are the things that you need. If they have employees, they'll be showing you a copy of their workers' compensation insurance. Those little check boxes down there at the bottom is what we're looking for. Pretty simple, all they gotta do is sign it, turn it into you, and,
is there a specific limit for the insurance, like what is it?
nope,
No, it's just you gotta just show me, boom, I'm Joe Blow and I have insurance coverage.
for their cover, yeah, for
For
their
their company.
business, yeah, for their business. Very simple.
Okay, any other new business? Moving on, committee reports, highway machinery.
Everything's been pretty busy. Everybody's working pretty hard, quite hard.
Hey, at least the rain stopped.
The weather has been a lot more cooperative. Still got a few mechanical woes, obviously, but otherwise, things are pretty good getting done. We're continuing with our road trimming and working the gravel roads, obviously, in between them. So the weather definitely has helped.
All right, any questions for Darren?
Probably.
Probably.
I mean, I think I participated in a meeting, and I think it's relevant to talk about it now, because it's relates to highway with, village and the Department of Transportation from the state regarding complete streets and walkability and things like that. And there was a question, I'm just trying to figure out what the right process to go through now is. There's interest in having lines on Arbor Hill Road, which I know the county does our lines for us, and they do it if we request it, or there's like this, they know what we want, they just get to it when they can, or what's, if I wanted to push the process forward so that lines were on that road, and Barb's here and she was leading the meeting, so I just wanted to.
We have to request and then we have to pay.
Yeah, yep, we do pay them every year for it. Usually, typically, they have done it once they've been mostly caught up with their striping on their roads.
And do you remember what kind of lines they put on there? I don't.
It's a double
It's a double
yellow line all the way
Okay,
down.
nothing on the sides.
Nothing on the side.
I was at the Complete Streets meeting, and I did talk with Sue directly, and she would need to know, because I believe they were also talking about getting the fog lines or the sidelines for Sherwood Bridge around that curve.
Yeah,
And she just needs to know how long of a distance that is, like where you would want them, and then she can be better able to give us an idea on pricing.
okay.
Although she said she was not able, she did not know the prioritization for timing of when it would be done. But that meeting usually lasts about 1 year.
The paint lasts a year.
That's what she was telling me.
Yeah, every year we have to have it done again. It's
So,
once a year application. We budgeted in for it every year. For right now, what we had budgeted in is based on the previous years for the double line, double yellow line down to past childcare center.
Alright,
So
so,
the unfortunate part about that is that they never get to it till September.
It's usually later. Last year, it certainly got later because of our
Yeah.
schedule of oil and snowing over top
And it
of it.
would be nice if that could happen sooner, since those roads are being used when the weather's nice for a lot of people walking and riding and everything down through there.
as well as our sports teams.
As well as our sports
Which
teams,
is the
so,
bigger
you know, by the time they get around to it, the need, I mean, I'm not saying don't do it, but it would be nice if there could be a little more priority put into it, since they are a guest in our town.
I can talk to them again and see what they say.
Yeah.
I have noticed on a
I
bunch
mean,
of.
they're here for free, and all we're asking is for some stripes on the road, so it would be nice.
well, it's related to that same meeting. The Complete Streets Committee has money to purchase signs that say share the road, which is what the Department of Transportation recommended for the Sherwoods area. So if the signs are purchased, do we put up signs? Do we have that?
Yeah, we can put them up.
We were promised to replace the two that are there right now, and currently it's a Chevrolet play. And the main thing was share the road, a better choice of wording, for alerting people that this is a multi-use, multimodal, stretch. But as long as, we just need to know which signs to order, and we can get them ordered.
Recommended a specific sign,
Yes.
which is in the book. It's like kind of
Yes.
pedestrian and a biker, very simple.
Okay, so I can bring it up now, but I thought Darren would be the right guy to ask about the
We have the
process for
book,
actually
we can
getting.
review that.
Can we look at the book?
Yeah, I know we went quickly one time, but
Yeah.
we'll have to do it again.
Let's set up a time after the meeting.
Sure.
Alright,
Can a highway question be asked, or is that out of order?
I hate to reopen the floor, but go ahead, Don.
On Wild Parsnip, I was just wondering what was being done about that. It seems to have been on County Route 16. Very deep trimming on the side that's eliminated it, but yeah, it's pretty bad on other roads. I was wondering if the town is doing anything in that area, or?
Mostly the state roads,
It's a
county road.
All we can do is mow down the roadsides, unfortunately, with the resources that we have. We don't have any way of spraying
No,
or,
No.
yeah,
just the mowing looks like a very effective way.
yeah. Yeah, which is a never-ending battle, especially in a year like this, but we usually have 2 tractors out mowing. It's been a little bit hard to keep up this year, but
Some bizarre reason, it seems to be the only place it really wants to grow anyway. I'm not quite understanding that.
along roadsides, you're
Yeah,
saying?
right. Or in my place, I practice genocidal warfare. I want to keep it off of my place because that stuff's nasty. Yeah.
Okay, moving on, health and youth. You had something, Billy, you want to bring up?
I do, Delaware County Sheriff's Office is looking for support for this year's child safety education program for the children and families of our community. This program assists them in teaching child safety as well as violence prevention and drug awareness. And there's several different levels of support. They're saying it costs about $3.10 per child to provide these safety materials. So 30 children would be 93, 40 would be 124, 50 would be 155, and on up to 200 would be 620. I guess I would make a motion that we support them for 30 children.
I would just mention the fact that every business in Delhi got one of those letters, because I have one.
I got
And I guess I'd sit on the fence in regards to whether the town should do that. I feel like we're supporting the county in their efforts and the sheriff's department and everybody through taxpayer money already, and I don't know if it's right for us to donate taxpayer money towards a function that I think they're already in some way paying for. But that's just my thought on it. I think other businesses are supporting that, and I just sit on the fence a little bit when it comes to whether the town should actually give money to that project. I understand it's for the children, but, you know, that's just my thought. Y'all can do whatever you want.
Mr. Attorney,
Yes, sir. I wasn't listening.
is it legal for us to donate to the sheriff's
No.
program?
It's not legal. It's not legal for you to donate to any charitable entity,
It's,
period. Unless there's a state law that allows it, and they allow for historical societies and for parades. That's about it. The reason is that if you can give taxpayers money to any charitable organization, then aren't the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts and everybody all
Everybody's
equally?
gonna have their
So
hand
there's hard law. The municipality can't make charitable contributions. All right.
I would withdraw my motion.
Okay, motion withdrawn. Anything else for health and youth? Matt will write a check, he's got money.
No, he's got a fire tower to pay.
No, that's right.
I can tell you the ice rink has been put away as of today. So, no more ice skating.
You think it's safe? Oh, that reminds me, I do have a call from some lady in Fleischman's that wants to talk to somebody that's been involved with our ice rink, cause I guess they're looking at doing something similar next door.
She wanted to buy ours.
I think she wants you to come over and put theirs off. Alright, economic development, shared services.
We have not had a meeting as yet. We are,
That's been fluffing off.
yes, we have. Actually, we've all been kind of tied up with other issues, but Barb Jones now is gonna be a part of that committee, so we wanna get going and get her there and get her up to speed on what we're working on, so. I know right now, I just talked to Chris Maney, and I believe we're gonna try to get something going in the 1st of August, in that first weekend there, we're gonna try to pull it together and get it going again, so. The pool has taken up a lot of time, and some other personal issues have taken up some time, so we'll get there.
Barb and I kind of jumped the gun. The town and village are actually having a table at Town Square each week, and part of it is to get input from our constituents. What do you love? What do you like? What would work? What wouldn't? And it also raises our presence. It is really confusing to have two municipalities that sometimes have the same name and overlap. So that's actually something that Barb and I are doing, just to kind of know who we are and what we're doing. And this
I am
Friday.
not the mayor.
And this Friday, there's
How
also
about
a
that?
bike service and safety clinic going on, which, the people that I've talked to have been pretty excited about that, so that's yet another thing that, sorry to jump
No,
shared services,
that's
but,
great.
we just